You ready?
I'm ready. Look at this. We got these awesome new bottles because I never had one of them before, and apparently I've heard they're supposed to taste way better. Oh
yes.
Oh,
that's the spot right there.
It's so bad. This is great.
I'll drink
Welcome
to that.
All right, I will too. Welcome back.
I'm Colin. That's Jagger.
And we're going to be talking about a wonderful boat called the John G. Munson, which is a cab over, a water cab over, in which hopefully we're going to go see in Toledo here.
Here in a couple weeks.
I think it's around about 2 weeks now,
Yeah.
March 1st.
Less than.
But we want to talk about basically kind of continuing on about the Bradley fleet. I don't know if this is going to come before or after. Yeah. We do 2 podcasts at a time.
Yep.
Figure out whatever we want to do. But this is a Bradley boat. He's got some history on it.
Got some notes.
And I think we're just going to talk about it because it's an amazing boat.
Still around.
It's still around.
Awesome. Yeah. So
when was it built?
It was launched in 1951, and it over a year later is when it actually sea trials and first voyage. But yeah, so the it was launched November 28th, 1951. It was actually I found this out today. The keel was laid down on my birthday in 1951, March 7th.
Really?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna do the math. You
were born in 1950.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah.
Benjamin Button disease. So, hull number 415 at the Manitowoc Shipbuilding, Manitowoc, Wisconsin.
Okay.
It's built for the Bradley fleet, Bradley Transportation Company.
Now, was that one of the last boats built for them?
It was the last boat.
It was the last boat.
It was not the last boat that they would get.
Right, but the last one specifically built for the company. Okay.
And I think we'll go over it in the Bradley fleet video, but there weren't many boats that they commissioned themselves.
Yeah.
There was, I think only maybe half of their fleet off the top of my head. I'll have to, we'll visit that in that video. But she was one of the few and the last to be built.
Okay.
To be completely 100% contract from Bradley Transportation to the builder. So one big thing is that she was built with a self-unloader from the time she was launched.
I remember reading something about that, where the Bradley fleet, that their boats, they almost all had self-unloaders.
They all did.
Because they just knew, even in the 20s.
Well, it was the limestone. They all, if they bought a boat, the first thing they would do would put a self-unloader on it. Okay. So that was, and at the time, she was the biggest. She was the biggest self-unloader built. She was never a Queen of the Lakes, but she was,
Yeah, it was a beautiful boat.
It is.
It is a beautiful. It's still here.
Boat.
It's still beautiful.
And I'll get into this. We'll get into this a little bit. She's built the same time as the AAA class freighters.
Yeah, you're right.
She shares. There are fleet mates with her now. Mm-hmm. Not the same thing.
Yeah.
Not. They're not built by the same company.
Look at them. They're different. They're very different. Look at the Anderson compared to it.
Right.
Or any of those boats.
But they're kind of grouped into the same category.
Right.
Now it's confusing.
Yeah.
But, it was a contract between Irvin L. Clymer in 1950 to build her, which he was the president of the Bradley fleet at that time. So some measurements. She was built 666 feet long, and that's complete length, not between the I can't remember that term, where it talks about in between the two uprights. But,
I'm not entirely sure.
The total length was 668 feet.
That's what we care about.
Yeah. 72 feet wide, 35-foot depth in the water. I think I read that she would set up 27 when she was loaded. She weighed 13,000 gross tons, and her capacity was 20,900 tons, which is a little bit more. She's a little bit longer and could hold a little bit more than the AAA class boats when they were built.
Okay. Yeah, that's right, because they were all lengthened. All the AAA classes were lengthened.
And she was too. And 7,700 shaft horsepower, which was more than AAA boats. She had 18 hatches, 24 feet long, 6 cargo holds.
So when she was built, do you know if she was built to run? Obviously, probably was it oil, or when it was
coal.
built, it was coal.
It was coal.
Okay,
which is different from the AAA boats.
Different from our coal too.
No, they
very
were oil.
different. No, but it was different from our coal.
Oh yeah. Our coal is he runs off
Home
Depot firefighter. It's a different thing.
Mm-hmm. Because I remember reading something that the Munson was repowered in 2016.
Yes, but it was repowered before that.
I assume so.
Yeah.
It was converted to oil,
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Heavy fuel oil, and then 2015, 2016 was the diesel engine.
Okay,
which
so it just got a diesel engine put in it.
Yeah. And I think all the Callaway, I don't know what the Callaway, but the Anderson has one.
I remember you talking about this. Those are those? No.
That was with
the Mark,
I know what you're talking about.
The Mark
yeah.
Barker, the newest lake freighter. That just has, is it two?
It has two
diesel, locomotive engines?
Yeah, 2 diesel locomotive engines. It's a 720 prime mover. That's what it's called. EMD, Electromotive Division, which was General Motors, but now it's Caterpillar who owns it.
That's all right.
Yeah, two basically, if you look at 2 diesel locomotives, you're most likely not, because they do use that engine in diesel locomotives. You're not, if you just go to the tracks, you're most likely not going to see that one, because there's not a ton of them. There's a lot, but there's not as many as the other type. But yeah, just think, when you see 2 freight engines pulling a train, that's what powers the Mark W. Barker. Is it W?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
The Mark Barker. Whatever the.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one. There's all kinds of Barkers, but.
Oh.
Okay, right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to get ahead of myself.
Yeah.
I remember reading something.
The water cab overs, they use one engine, and it's a German engine, and I can't think for the life of me what it is. It's some whatever engine, but yeah. So when she was built with the coal burner and steam power, she had 7,700 shaft horsepower. Like we said, largest self-unloader.
Is it?
She was built. Yep.
Still?
Well,
not still.
Now.
I mean, the largest, probably for cab over self-unloader at this time.
No, not
oh,
now.
No, it's not.
But as built, she was.
She
was.
Sorry, I had a whole brain fart right there.
I'll drink to that.
I'll drink to that one, too. These are really good out of this can.
It is.
Cold as the Rockies.
We need that train to just come and destroy this building behind us.
Yeah, we do.
But, yeah, so like we were saying, it's very similar but different than the AAA class. The biggest difference between the two, honestly, if she was built by American Shipbuilding in Lorraine, probably would be a AAA class boat.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Yeah.
And it did mention online on one of the sources I used, one of the boat wikis, that it mentioned that there's 2 other sister ships to it. And the Saginaw is one of them, but the Saginaw is not exactly the same, because I had heard that before, but when I looked into the Saginaw previously,
and I remember I asked you this question because I've seen the Saginaw in person. Awesome, it looks just like it.
Yeah, there's 3 boats that were built by the Manitowoc Shipbuilding in the same time, in this general same time.
Yeah,
but they were built to different to a degree, to different specifications.
Right.
Which is why they're all kind of slightly different, the 3 of them. But the Saginaw is one that's still floating, and I can't for the life of me remember what the other one is. I don't think that one's still around.
I don't know.
I don't think it's still around. But anyways, so the Bradley fleet, as we're going to talk about, is
we'll probably upload this one first, and next video we're going to talk about the Bradley fleet. We'll talk about it here in and out, but whatever, just to get you to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's the last boat specifically built for the Bradley Transportation Company.
Now, the Bradley Transportation Company is part of U.S. Steel. It's their stone transportation division. So the Bradley fleet, its sister fleet is Pittsburgh Steamship Company, which is pretty much all their big boats are still around today. Which is the Callaway, the Philip R. Clark, the Arthur M. Anderson, which we have a great podcast about.
Yep.
They're built, all these 4 ships built in the same time for the same company, but to different specifications, because you got the 2 divisions.
Right.
The 3 Pittsburgh Steamship Company boats did not have self-unloaders when built.
Right.
That's just how they ordered them. Bradley fleet needed that for the stone trade, so the Munson had it, but the dimensions were a little bit different too. So they're actually 20 feet shorter, the AAA class boats as built.
Okay.
So they were 647 feet long, 2 feet less in beam, so 70 feet, 36-foot depth with 20,000 capacity, and they were oil fired. They're rated at 7,000 shaft horsepower. So I don't know why they chose to do coal in the Munson, because at that point, I mean,
I was going to say that's 19.
They're starting to phase it out. I mean, the Sykes was the first to be oil fired.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they're at least as built.
So that's 49. So yeah,
49.
Yeah, 40s.
And I want to say the Munson's probably one of the last ones built to run on coal.
Yeah, probably.
But I'm not positive on that. And a little information about her self-unloader. It is a dual hold belt, which fed a forward bucket elevator system. And it went to a 250-foot boom that was mounted on the deck behind the pilot house. So, and that's another cool thing too, is a lot of the ships that have been converted to self-unloaders, they're at the back.
Right. Yeah.
The Munson's cool.
Is this still the original self-unloader that's on it right now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right, because almost every boat I can think of, the self-unloaders are on the back. And the Munson's an old school design, because it's an old school design. It's awesome. A lot of the Bradley fleet boats had that.
They all did.
All of them, yeah.
Yeah, because that's how they did it in the early days. I don't know why they do it in the back now. I have no idea. Maybe something with well, I don't know. I just have no idea. I'm not going to speculate, but the Saginaw, it has it in the front.
Yep.
That's one big similarity between the two. But I think their unloading systems are different. I don't think they're the same between the Saginaw and the Munson. They don't look the same. Mm-hmm. The Saginaw honestly looks like the more traditional Bradley fleet boats.
Yeah.
Because they have a bigger arm that kind of goes up above. But anyways, she was the flagship of the Bradley fleet when she was.
Oh, for sure.
She was released. Her first like to go load at Cal Site was like August of 52.
Where were they all mostly out of? Were they all at Cal Site, Michigan? Isn't that like where their home base is?
Rogers City, which I'm not sure off the top of my head if Cal Site is in Rogers City.
I think it is, but I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Tell
us.
It actually said that the Bradley fleet was registered out of Cleveland, which the Pittsburgh Steamship Company was too at the time. I don't know if that's just a U.S. Steel thing, but the boats were all based in Rogers City. So when we get into the Bradley fleet, we'll talk about the Carl D. Bradley. Like,
big story on that one for all you don't know. But
this fleet, like, there's generations that worked
they
in
came,
the boats.
Because when did they first really honestly start? It was in the before the 20s, I'm pretty sure. It was like the early it's like, yeah, because I'm pretty sure it was like early 1900s, like 1911 or something like that.
It was 1898 and like 1900 or 1901 is when U.S. Steel bought it. Mm-hmm. But no, that's not right. That was a different fleet, I think.
I don't know.
We'll get into it here.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But early 20th century. They're all based out of Rogers City, and that's like the big. You got towns that are known for something.
Yeah.
Like you got like a steel mill. Well, everybody works at a steel mill, or a coal mine. Your family works in a coal mine.
Home Depot.
Rogers City.
Sorry. Ashland's.
I'll drink to that.
I know. We got to get him on here one of these days.
Rogers City was known for its limestone mine, so that's why they based the fleet out of there. Mm-hmm. That was built to haul the limestone.
That makes sense.
So, like I actually read today, the Munson, there was ship hands on the Munson that had brothers on the Bradley when they sank.
Okay.
So like they're hearing about this when they're at home.
Right.
Like they just came into port when the Bradley the Bradley sank. So it's like it's kind of neat and it kind of sucks. It's a tight knit community. Yeah, the Bradley fleet was. And the Munson, even being fresh off the line, it was still just in there like the rest of them.
Right.
But so yeah, I found it. It's August 21st, 1952. She went from, I'm assuming, Manitowoc, the shipyard, to Cal Site to haul her first load of limestone.
Okay.
So the Carlo D. Bradley sinking was a couple years after that. It was 55. No, it was 58. I'm sorry. So she'd been in service for 7 years at that point.
Right.
Nothing really eventful until that. And like she didn't really aid much into that. Just some of her crewmates had some family on the Bradley.
Yeah.
After that, the next big thing that happened was a bow thruster installed in 66.
Mm-hmm.
So she had that, and then in 67 is when the Bradley Fleet and the Pittsburgh Steamship Company merged together.
Okay.
So now we're getting to the point where the Anderson, the Callaway, the Clark.
Right, they all come together under the
together,
same company.
With what's left of the Bradley Fleet, obviously with the Munson, what's left of the Pittsburgh Steamship Company, come together. U.S. Steel Great Lakes Fleet. But the Great Lakes Fleet is still around to today.
That's what it is. That's current day. That's what they all are.
One different owner, but no, two different owners actually. But yeah, still these boats, those four we just mentioned, the Munson and those three AAAs are still in service today. So that was 67. About 8 years later is when all these boats were lengthened. So the Munson and the three AAA class were all lengthened at the same time, 75. Fraser Shipyards for the Munson cut in half, added 102-foot midsection in, and she was 768 feet.
Damn, that's a big boat.
Math, simple, but
simple
768
math.
feet after that, and she got roughly 5,000 more tons that she could haul.
Yeah.
So we're up to 25,550 gross tons. She got an oil firing burner with an automated boiler now. Mm-hmm. So now she's got the same fueling system as the AAA class.
Yeah.
Getting even more.
She's just getting up to time.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you think about it, that's such a perfect boat to have. Now you got a bow thruster added. Mm-hmm. Your boat can haul 5,000 tons more.
Yeah.
It's still relatively. I'm not really sure whenever they would start to say they're stop saying that they're a newer boat. Because at that point,
23 years old at this point in time.
Yeah, so she's about as what they thought she would be in about midlife, mid-age, like she's in the midlife,
flash
50s,
forward 70 years. later.
Flash forward to 2025, and well, here we are. But I think we're gonna take a break. We gotta go do something. We'll be right back.
We will. We're back.
We are back. Sorry, we had to take a little intermission. We had to go to a certain place, certain meeting, about a certain guy, but. We were talking about the engine, so the Munson. We were talking about how they were converted from coal to oil, as well as just lengthening.
And we talked about
stuff like
the
that.
new one and stuff. But some more info when she got her big refit in 75, 76. I guess she had her hatch covers were two pieces.
Really?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, they're usually one, just one big cover.
They were called telescoping hatches. So I think it they maybe fold in half or something like an accordion style, something like that. Yeah. Instead, they were one piece hatches like traditional lake freighters.
Okay.
And of course, when she got lengthened, she got 6 more hatch covers. Mm-hmm. So she had 22 now and an entirely new cargo hold. She had 7. So I mean that's some substantial changes.
I'd say so. And when was that?
75, 76.
Okay. Oh boy.
So at the same time that her fleet mates, the AAA class boats that she's closely tied to, they were rebuilt at the same time. They didn't have as much work because even though the Munson was built at the same time, it seemed like in some ways she was ahead of her time with the self-unloader.
Yeah.
But she was still coal-fired.
Right.
She had these telescoping hatches, which
right, because coal fire that's as old as it can get regarding engines and lake freighters.
We're talking back to the beginning of steam.
Right.
The
that's what they use. Coal,
the next
wood,
thing
but with lake freighters, it's coal. Yeah,
was coal burning steamships,
and they still put that in 1952.
Yeah,
I wonder if any other boats were the other boats built like that, like the Saginaw. Do you have any idea?
I don't know. No. Maybe we can do a video on that and figure that out. But
that's a whole nother boat.
The Saginaw, I would say maybe.
I would say so. I mean, they're not built identical.
It could be. It could have been a thing though to maybe save money, because the Bradley fleet, they would buy a lot of boats secondhand.
Right.
They're a lot smaller than a lot of other fleets, so maybe it was just a cost saving thing.
I'm gonna say so, probably.
Probably.
But I don't know. We're not trying to say anything because we don't know for sure. But
right.
Whatever. No matter what, regardless, they put coal-fired engines, boilers, in a boat made 1952, and they were already building them at that time with oil-fired
Yep.
engines. But, oh well, still worked. Did the same exact thing it's supposed to do.
Right.
But, yeah, other than that, anything else really happened in, like, the 70s, like late 70s?
Yeah, 78. March of 78. Don't know why. Maybe this was coming out of layup, but she got damage to the rudder in Whitefish Bay, and she was towed back to Sault Ste. Marie by the Mackinac.
Okay.
The Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard cutter Mackinac, which I think is still.
I think it is, unless it's a renamed boat, but I'm pretty sure it's the same boat.
That boat's been around for a long time.
Yeah, I think a lot of the icebreakers have.
Yeah. Well, they used a lot of old World War II boats for a while, and I think they still do, a couple of them. But that's a different topic.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I didn't even really look into that at all.
I know very little. I've seen some stuff on it.
That's cool.
It is really cool. Coast Guard's kind of looked down on, but they got some cool stuff.
They do a lot of stuff. Yeah.
And they do worlds of good in the lakes.
Mm-hmm.
But so that finishes out the 70s for her. She wasn't involved with like the Fitzgerald wreck-it anyway.
No.
Nothing else major happened then. Pretty normal seasons. Something I haven't mentioned yet is that after she was built, she did set a lot of limestone records, which makes sense because she's the biggest boat made to haul limestone.
Right. So is that pretty much all that she was used for, to haul just limestone, nothing else?
Like coal.
Okay, so
coal,
just like stuff like that.
I don't think like now those boats do they'll do taconite too.
Yeah.
But back then they didn't do that. The straight deckers were exclusive to like the taconite. Yeah. I think they might have done coal. I don't know, but she was all kinds of stones, primarily limestone, and then coal. She would do some coal too, or at least some of the other ones would, so I'm assuming she did too.
Yeah.
But, so nothing. That finishes out the 70s for her. That's 30 years in now.
Yeah.
31 years after she was built, she had her first fire that I could find.
Big fire?
Yeah.
Like really big fire? Like
not like ruining fire, but it was pretty big. It was February 2nd, so during layup, which seems to happen way too much.
Yeah.
But it was in the forend. It was down in the machine shop, and 3 people were hospitalized due to smoke inhalation. There's no record that I could find of what extent how much damage that she sustained because of that fire. But it wasn't in the unloader like a lot of them seem to happen now.
Right.
Like
so obviously it was repaired.
Yeah, obviously.
And then it was right back in service that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, layup, but.
Yeah, a lot of freighters. They're
mostly just their conveyor systems or something like that.
Catch on fire, like the
Blau,
the
Cuyahoga.
The Cuyahoga, yeah, it was.
The Blau started not because of it started.
It just caught that on fire.
Yeah, it's just once those go up, I guess the conveyor systems just ignite pretty easily.
I'm assuming it's like rubber.
It's gotta be. Yeah, it's gotta be.
But I think the Anderson has had a fire. Maybe.
Did it? I don't know. I have no idea.
But it seems to happen on a lot of boats.
Yes.
That happens. And then a year later, she struck the brake wall in the rain.
Oh.
And she lost an anchor, and there was some damage done to her bow, but nothing crazy. They got the anchor back.
Normal here and there. You know, ding up this, lose an anchor.
Right. I mean, if you look at them, you can see where they got scrapes and stuff on them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty extensive to lose an anchor, but
yeah,
she was fine. And then not much happened in the 80s. Pretty smooth sailing.
It's good.
So
that's a good thing.
Good. 86, she got a stern thruster installed.
That's nice.
So, another great addition to her.
Yeah,
and,
that's nice.
2003. Well, in the early 80s, I didn't have this in my notes, but the U.S. Great Lakes fleet was sold. So U.S. Steel, at the point of, actually, I think in the early 80s, I think before 84, they were sold to BlackRock, which is
they were sold to BlackRock.
Yeah.
Really? Why?
Big. That's just what they do. They buy companies, they make money off of them, and then they sell them. BlackRock has their fingers in everything.
Yeah, I was going to say BlackRock?
Yeah. 2003, new owners, Canadian National Railway.
Which they still own them, don't they?
They still own them to this day.
I thought that I heard something like the beginning of last year that they were all up for sale. Is that true?
They were there. I remember seeing that something mentioned too, because that was before I was into these.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it.
I think we did, because I really didn't look into it after that.
Yeah.
Because it was like the Great Lakes Fleet's vessels or fleet is up for sale. I'm like, what?
They were thinking about selling them, but they didn't. Like they're still, and I haven't heard anything since then. And then, like we talked about already, 2015, 2016, she was repowered with a German diesel, which I think all the other Great Lakes Fleet vessels use.
I mean, that's a good sign. You know what that means? She'll be in service. For which I know 2016, it's already almost 10 years ago.
Yeah,
it was
2015, 2016. So, yeah.
So it's probably already been about 9-10 years.
But, I mean, there's no mention of her being gone anytime soon. She was only in long-term layup for like a year. Like, she didn't sail the 2016 season, even though I think she was completed in time. She was like only in long-term layup for that, like from 2015 to 2017. She sailed again in 2017. And that was all just a...
Damn, that's a workhorse of a boat then, just to be sailing from launch to, 1 year hiatus when it was getting an engine swap. But, I mean...
That's crazy.
That's awesome. And it's still...
She's still
there ain't
going.
You're right. There ain't no word of it ever getting put up for layup or anything like that. And
she's the last Bradley fleet.
She's the last active Bradley fleet boat. Is there any of them that are converted as barges that you know of, or is that just like the last floating Bradley fleet boat?
The Mississauga, I think.
There were a couple that were scrapped within the last 10 years that were original Bradley fleet boats.
I think the Mississauga was a Bradley fleet boat.
I think you're right, as well as the calcite, because there was an original calcite, and then there was another calcite that was scrapped,
and then calcite 2.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny, and I'll cover this in the Bradley Fleet video. The calcite 2 was a Pittsburgh Steamship Company boat that they basically reflagged to Bradley. Even though it was the same company, they just converted it to be a limestone hauler. I think that was in the 50s when the Pittsburgh Steamship was getting the AAAs. Yeah. So they like some of their older boats they kind of transferred over to the Bradley fleet, which they didn't really need huge boats to do what they did.
Right.
So they did fine with the boats they had. I think at their highest point they had 8 boats. The Bradley fleet did. So
that's a good sized fleet.
I mean, yeah.
If you need them, you got them.
Opposed to supposedly at one point Pittsburgh Steamship had 100.
Yeah.
At one time.
I highly doubt that, but I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know.
Well, research that we need to do, or I don't know.
Once again, we've talked about this before. We're not experts.
No, we're not. No, we're not experts. I
did
most of like my research within like the last few days.
Yeah.
About this, like I've always known about the Bradley fleet because of the sinking of the Carl Bradley.
Right, and
I was
Cedarville
like,
too.
And then some of the historical pictures I've seen of a lot of the boats in layup, and they almost all have like the same style.
Yeah.
Like such as the Carl D. Bradley and the Munson and the Saginaw. I know they weren't same exact company, but built the same. And I was like, we should probably talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be our next one. We're gonna talk about the Bradley fleet because there's a lot of stuff to talk about on that one. But just chill out, drink beer, and talk about boats. Cause why not? And I know that like our last podcast, we talked about trains. Because like, let us know if you actually enjoy them because we like making them. I mean, like regardless, we're gonna make stuff because it's just cool to us. But like boats, trains, planes, you name it, we're all for it.
I mean, it is called the P51 podcast.
Right, P51 podcast. Here's a lake freighter.
We haven't talked about planes in a little while, so I mean.
But this year, we got a lot of stuff coming. We got a lot of events that we're going to go to. We do have a couple videos posted from last year that we went to, like Thunder over Michigan, and a couple of them. But
big news on that front. It's going to be. So it was rumored last year. Real quick before we end this off.
Nope, talk about it.
It's there was a rumor in some of the Facebook Warbird groups that it was going to be an Avenger meetup. Or reunion is the word they called it. And I looked within the last week. This is today's date is the 17th, February 17th. So within the last week, I looked at the lineup, and they have 11 TBF Avengers, which is, if you don't know, it's a World War II. Like, we had these from beginning, before we were in the war, to the end. They were in service. The first George Bush president was a pilot of one of these during the war.
That's the plane that he was in then. Okay.
Yep. There's going to be 11 of those so far confirmed. Flying examples going to be at the air show there. So we are beyond excited. That is one of my favorite planes. I'm so excited.
He got me into those ones because I never really I didn't know that. I know they were a big plane. Mm-hmm. I didn't really know that they were even classified as a bomber, but then the more you look at it, it's a bomber. It's a complete bomber.
It is the largest single-engine aircraft that we had during the war.
This could be a whole video. We could talk about this.
We should
do it because that's insane.
That's something, if you're close to Detroit, Michigan, you
what's
need to
it
go
called?
to this.
Ypsilanti?
Something like that.
Yeah, somewhere
Willow
like name
Run
like
Airport.
that. Yeah, Willow Run.
You got to go.
You have to go.
If you're from Ohio, if you gone to the Cleveland Air Show, if you gone to Props and Pistons in Akron, you'll be dumbfounded by how amazing this is. They're going to have the Blue Angels there. There's going to be an F-22 Raptor.
I can't wait to see the Blue. I never seen them.
I mean, it's been a while. I saw them as a kid, but I'm excited to see them again as an adult. Take some pictures. I love taking pictures. So
oh, yeah.
That's something to look forward to. If you live in Michigan, you guys have the best air show that I've ever seen.
Yep.
It blows away anything that we've had.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. We go to, which we're not saying that any really air shows are bad.
No.
So to say, it's just that depends, they might have little shows. They might have like a little, like one of them that I went to and he's been to is the Akron Air Show, which that's a nice air show. Little. I heard they used to be a lot bigger just because of the base. It's the Akron base. They got a big blimp hangar there that's really very historical. A lot of historical importance there, but like they got a couple planes there.
We should cover that sometime.
We should too.
That's important.
We just do all of them, just air shows and stuff.
Air shows. I mean, we did. What did we do? We did museums.
Yeah, I think we did museums.
But the blimp hangar. If you're from the Akron area,
you've seen it.
You've seen it.
You've seen it. It's nothing like you've ever seen.
Yeah.
You're like, it's so different.
And I mean, everybody who goes past it was like, oh, that's interesting, and doesn't think twice of it. And it's got some awesome history, and we'll have to talk about that sometime.
I think we should. I think for now we should just end this, finish these off. Oh, that was good. But hey, see you the next time.
Yeah.
Just go like fat girls.
I completely forgot your computer's right there. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You completely flew over it.